very much.
Is
Okay.
Shoshana there?
No, Shoshana is not. I haven't seen Shoshana in a while. I know she moved. Oh, wow. Okay. Now I better.
That's right. I told him to come.
I was told I should come.
It's my, yeah, it's my fault.
Okay. So good morning, everybody. We're going to continue with our journey with Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur stuff. We're on Rosh Hashanah liturgy. I know we're looking somewhere between Asara B'Tevet and going towards Tu B'Shvat, but we're here in this class. We're on Rosh Hashanah stuff. So we are in the Magen. We're about to start the Magen of the Chazarat Hashatz on Shacharit for the second day of Rosh Hashanah. This is where we stopped. At least this is where my marking is. So let's see. What page is this?
Yes.
Okay. Now remember, some of the stuff for the first and the second day in Rosh Hashanah is the same stuff. So we're not going to do it twice if we cover that. But here we go. Okay. So we did the opening. We did the first piyut over there. We are on page 336. Okay. So, anyone remembers how we call that? The piyut, the first, the piyut that is in the middle of the first bracha of the Amidah. Right? Remember, we're still in the first bracha. So we had the opening, we saw Chachamim, then we have the Reshut, the Atiti Lechananach, that's 334. And this is actually the first piyut in that series, right? So we're still in the first bracha. We haven't got into the Chatima. We haven't said Baruch Atah Hashem Magen Avraham. We're not there yet. So we're still in the middle of the first bracha, which means what's the name of the piyut when it's part of the first bracha of the Amidah? Correct, the Magen. Nobody remembers. That's okay. Right? So the first one was the Magen. The second one is the Mechayeh, because it's in the second bracha, Mechayeh Ametim. And then the third one is going to be, remember how you call it? The Meshulash. Meshulash, because it's goes into the... Okay. But we have before that the Siluk, which is going to be the last piyut before the Kedusha. Okay, we'll get there. Doesn't matter. So, what is this? I'm going to wait for Nechama because she's the one that reads the English for us. Well, I listen. I am not dealing with domestic.
Domestic.
It's like. I'm just saying, if Nechama said that I'm going to read, then it's probably you're going to read. That's the way it works here. Okay, anyway, let's take a quick look at the English here on the second half of page 337. Somebody from the Simpson family.
How far should I read? Over?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Your word is purified and your testimony is righteous. Do not be meticulous with those who come to you for judgment. As you approach to search out every secret and hidden deed, grant a vindicating verdict in the judgment of your poor ones. Indeed, you build your universe with kindness. O abundantly kind one, tilt the scales toward kindness. Side in favor of merits and thereby establish your might. Be gracious to Israel's grandchildren of Abraham, who was removed from Ur Kasdim. May you respond before we call. May kindness for us be found in the response. When you recall your creatures to be counted this day, may your protecting angels encamp around us, strengthening your attribute of goodness upon us. Cleanse us from sin and remove our wanton sins. With your arms strengthen those who look to you with hopefulness. With your might, give them renewed strength and soaring wings. May the deeds of Abraham and Ezrahite be remembered before you.
Okay. Let's stop here for a second. So when you look at the English, it's easier to see, but again, we have a very clear structure of Aleph Bet, right? We've seen that before. Every line starts with the next line of the next letter of the Aleph Bet. Okay, so what was remember that series of piyutim that we had in the first day? What was the theme? We talked about Sarah, we spoke Imahot, to be a little bit more specific. What context? What exactly about the Imahot?
I think it's like having it all waited to have prayed to have children.
Exactly. Challenges of infertility. Yeah, challenges in having children. That basically, right? Okay. And so that was kind of the theme. What's the theme? And by the way, the Torah reading of the first day is exactly that. It's the same. And the Haftarah about Hana, it's also about that. So you see the whole theme come together. Torah reading, the piyutim of Shacharit, of course, and the Haftarah. It's all about the challenge, right? And what did we say about the second day? What's the theme of the second day?
Forgiving our sin.
No. It's the Zchut Avot.
Oh, Zechut.
The Zchut Avot is the kind of the central theme of those piyutim of the second day. Okay. Remember who's the one that wrote the piyutim, the parallel piyutim that we have now, like for the first day. Who wrote them? Remember? The guy that wrote a lot of stuff. The Kalil. Okay, a Kalil. And here on the second day, he came much later, is Rabbi Shimon HaGadol, from the students of Rashi. He focuses on the Brit Avot, and okay. Now, let's take a look at a couple of key words here. And so again, we see that. What do we say? That Imratcha tzerufa ve'edotecha tzedek. Your word is purified and your testimony is righteous, right? So the first, in the beginning, the Magen describe the midat hatzedek, the attribute of tzedek, of justice. Okay, it's not the first time that we were dealing with that. Okay, there's a lot of references here to words from Tehillim, specifically from Mizmor Kuf Yutet. A lot of words are taken from there. Okay, fine. This is where we see the Edotecha Tzedek. Okay, the term the Edotecha Tzedek comes from that pasuk from Tehillim Kuf Yutet. Yes.
Well, I'm not exactly sure that I understand
What?
the subtlety of the Hebrew here, the translation. Why would they choose the word, your word is purified, instead of saying,
Great.
translation, your word is pure?
It's purified because the binyan,
Oh, the binyan.
the binyan of the word tzaruf. Okay, so what is tzaruf? We spoke about it. Remember?
Like, go, like.
Exactly. A tzoref is the tzoref bazahav. Utukot kesef tzoref, right? The Navi is talking about that, right? So tzoref is what in modern Hebrew?
Well, why does God's word have to be purified? Why
A
isn't
jeweler. Hold on. A jeweler.
a jeweler?
A jeweler.
Yeah,
Jeweler, because the jeweler is dealing with metals.
right.
And so he creates out of metals something. Okay? Okay. Now, The fact it's tzerufa, it's the savil. It's not the binyan. It's not that active. It's
Passive.
passive. Tzrufa. Imratcha tzrufa. Your words is already tzaruf, i.e., carved, so to say, in metal. What is that carving in metal? What is create? What did Soref is creating? It created a jewelry. So it's also beautiful and precious, etc. Okay, so it's the double meaning here. Okay, so imratcha, your come from the word amar, that's the shoresh. Imratcha, your words are like jewels, but they're also carved. They're also like fashioned out of metal. Like it's permanent, engraved, permanent, but also beautiful and dear and expensive, and call it whatever you want. Ve'edotecha tzedek. Edut is testimony, and it is okay. Edotecha tzedek, that's justice. They're just. So this is why, and okay, but in context of God, they translate this automatically as righteous. Okay, but tzedek is just. What do we say in modern Hebrew? If I want to say I'm right, I need tzedek, because justice is always with me. Right? That's
Doesn't Mount Dani say that?
yeah. So the point is that this is how like tzedek becomes, used to because okay, it's not only that there's like tzedek is justice, but like of course if it's my position, then of course it's the right one, right? Okay. Anyway, ba'ei adecha. Ba'ei adecha comes from Tehillim. It's a pasuk that we say Tehillim Samech Gimel. We know it. Adecha kol basar yavo. We say it on also the opening for Slichot. Adecha kol basar yavo. Okay. And then we say beriv al tedakdek. Riv is what? Okay. And we're saying, so with the bad stuff, the quarrel, the fight, al tedakdek. What is letadek? To be precise. Dikduk is what? Exactly. Well, what is dikduk? Grammar.
Yeah.
It's the difference with it's a one letter here. It's a different binyan. It's like it's the details, right? It's the annoying stuff. Wow. It's the details. Right. So the point is, when it comes to that stuff, to riv, al tedakdek. Right. We have also right. There's a saying in the Talmud that the Kadosh Baruch Hu is medakdek with the tzadikim kechut ha'se'ara. Okay, that God is particular with the tzadikim, with the righteous people, just like a strain of hair. Like, even to the most, okay. So he said, don't do that to us. Don't do it to us. Okay. גישתך לחפש כל תעלום בבדק. Okay. גישתך. That's, okay. Approach, thank you. גישתך. לחפש כל תעלום. כל תעלום. What's תעלום comes from what word? תעלומה, which is something that is unknown, a mystery. A mystery. So גישתך לחפש, you enabling, or you go and you search every mystery, every something that is unknown, hidden, vabedek. What is bedek? What is bedek habayit that in Sefer Melachim we talk about, for example? Right? We say bdikat chametz. right? So you search, but what do you do exactly?
Check.
You check. It's examination, right? When you say, I have a bdika by the rofe, by the doctor, it's a checkup. So when I go and I search for the chametz, what do I do exactly? I checking whether there's a chametz. Okay, good. So bedek is livdok is to check, right? So you go and you search every and you to check if there like every mystery. Okay, fine. Din aniyecha b'mishpat hatzdek. Din aniyecha b'mishpat hatzdek. Okay, the judgment of the poor ones. Who are the poor ones?
He's supposed to pour in fight.
Correct. No, definitely not in finance. Yeah, in deeds, yes, that's us. So the din, the judgment of your poor people, b'mishpat hatzdek. Justify. So when we say, like in parentheses, I'm going to put the lack of deeds in judgment. Okay? So even though don't look into the specifics, we say al tedakdek. We said, okay, but I want you to justify me in the judgment. How are you going to do that? It's the previous line. This is why you need to go and check any hidden stuff. Okay? Okay. So we understand what's going on. Hen olamcha banita bechesed. Okay, that's based on a pasuk that we already discussed in the past. Olam, ki amarti olam chesed yibane, from Tehillim Peitet, right? And now the Paitan goes from midat hatzedek. Remember, we started with tzedek. The beginning is justice. We're talking about justice. It's a different characteristic of God. And we go now to what? Which other midah? Chesed. It's a whole different story. Now I have it's a different court. Okay? Okay, so I'm switching now from the tzedek to chesed. Why?
Because that's what we need.
Okay, fine. But he's going to build something, just like he built like in this first bayit, he built something. He's going to build something here as well. So what did we say about what is the actually? I don't have to say it. No, that's it. Ki amarti olam chesed yibaneh. The whole foundation for the world is chesed. And remember, like a couple of weeks ago, we discussed that, and we said that there is no other way to build a world. You can't do a world that is based only on justice. That was what? How we call it? How Chachamim called it? That's dom. That's midah benonit. Shali, shali, shalcha, shalcha. What is right is right. That's it. Don't expect me to do anything for you. Lifnim mishurat adin. Don't expect me to do anything for you. That's Sdom. But we believe that the world is based on chesed. That's the found. Yes, you definitely need tzedek. Otherwise, there's going to be chaos, right? And then it's going to be like you have to have tzedek. However, the foundation upon which the world was built, created, is chesed, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided to create the world because of chesed. Okay. And therefore, it's the foundation of the world. And by the way, remember what we talked about a couple of weeks ago? We said that in Judaism, true justice can be achieved only with chesed. Yes, you're wrong, blah, blah, blah. However, there are always special circumstances. There's always something, blah, blah, blah. That's the way it is. Right? We remember we talked about tzedek and tzedakah. Right? Tzedakah is the ultimate opposite of tzedek. And yet it's the same word. It's the same sholish. Right? Because I don't have to give you charity. You go to work, you make money. You don't go to work, I don't need to support you. I pay my taxes. I do everything according to the law. And yet Judaism teaches us, no. You're able to achieve tzedek only through element of tzedakah. It's two conflicting concepts, chesed and tzedek. In Judaism, they coexist. Yeah?
It's very timely right now.
It's always timely.
It's always time.
It's always timely.
It's
a wisdom that goes thousands of years, way before my time. It's not mine.
Because we're in Shmot now.
Yes, we're starting Shmot, correct.
Right, and what some leaders are doing now in the country are actually making people slaves to another group who haven't personally really suffered it. It's their ancestors from a while back. And
I don't know.
it's interesting from a Jewish puzzle perspective, how
Okay.
it plays out in
Okay.
the real world. You know?
It always plays out in the real world. We believe that our Torah is Torah Chaim. That stuff is relevant to always. Actually, one of the we're gonna digress again. It is timely though. One of the fundamental, by the way, debates today in Israel is what we call the Dati Leumi camp versus the Haredi. So yes, the boiling, whatever, the hot topic is the army. I get it. But what happened is that it opened a whole discussion about the concept of Torah and the criticism. Okay, I think it's very clear where I stand. Right? I'm not in the Haredi camp, right? But it's very, very clear of the criticism that says, like, the fact that you don't go to the army is just one manifestation of the fact that your Torah is detached from real life. You can discuss in Beit Midrash, like, the shakla v'taya and the details of something, of a korban or whatever, how that translates into life. Somebody actually, I saw a post, somebody just recently wrote, and he just went through publications of halacha books that were published in Israel in the last 20 years or so. Okay, and he compares the Haredi ones and the Tidumi ones. Okay, and he says, okay, there's definitely many more in the Haredi world. They spend more time learning Torah, whatever. He really analyzes like the difference. But then he goes into the topics. He said they're like life in the 21st century, dealing with a lot of stuff. They're not dealing with that. This is even, it's like, it's not even going into the army. It's like, what do you do when you're in the army? What do you do when it comes to modern life in terms of banking, whatever, all that kind of stuff? They're not dealing with that.
Because that's not their life.
It's not their lives. It is. It's just like they separate. Like I have to, I live in this, whatever, in this world. But my Torah doesn't apply there. Right? We say it's the opposite. My Torah applies everywhere. When I go to the bank, when I go to the supermarket, when, how do I deal with smartphones? All that kind of, whatever it is, they're not dealing with that. There was a wonderful article, I don't remember, was written, I want to say in the 90s, early 90s, here in America. Somebody from the conservative movement, I forget all the information, that was criticizing, he was maybe even 80s, I don't remember, criticizing the conservative movement. And he said, like, guys, he's writing to his colleagues. He said, here's the problem. We kind of got used to put the Jewish thing into a box. We go to the shul, whenever we go to shul, and we do the Jewish thing, okay? We participate in a service. Okay, we go to a bar mitzvah, we do the, it's a wedding that we do it, but it's not something that we do on a regular basis. It's not right. So I have my Jewish moments, let's call it, during the day, whatever that means. But other than that, I'm whatever. The Haredi world does the same thing. Okay, so I'm in the Jewish world the whole time. Great. But sometimes I have to step out of it in order to, whatever, deal with, I'm going to the hospital, I'm going to whatever, shopping, whatever that is, all that kind of stuff. We believe no. There is no separation. Torah applies everywhere, all the time, no matter what. In the hospital, in the army, whatever I study, how I behave, how I drive, whatever needs to be, everything, Torah applies everywhere, all the time. That's a major theological difference. And therefore, the halacha books written, they're dealing with everyday issues and not necessarily, details of a korban. I mean, it's important, it's great, but it's less, let's call it less urgent now.
Wait, okay.
Anytime soon.
I didn't say that. I'm saying like up until Mashiach could come any second, but up until now, it was less urgent.
So I
I just want to finish it. So for example, I mean, if you ask me, right? So I'm a chazan, right? My thing is tefillah, whatever. For me, much more urgent to write something, and I want to do that soon, by the way, in the show, I'm working on it, a course on women's tefillah. Not minyanim for women and partnership. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the obligation for women to daven. Do they need to come to minyan? What do they daven? Why? What's the difference? How? What does it mean? All that kind of stuff. Why? Because this is something that is relevant to our generation. Okay? 4 generations ago, most women, 5 generations, 6, they couldn't even read. A lot of them, especially in shtetls and in Europe, right? I get it, but
No, they learn, and they learn from their mom, whatever the mom knew,
And
mostly they learned it.
so that was not a big deal,
Right.
right? Even the whole concept, by the way, of the women are not, they're exempt from tefillah because mitzvah, shazman grama, and that. Not so true anymore today. Not so true anymore.
A long time ago wrote that women are actually obligated to, it's not clear how that they are obligated to do that.
It's not only the obligated, but the point is, like, for example, empty nesters
Yeah.
or single women,
Yeah.
they're obligated just like the men. I know we rely on this. Look,
So then we should say, we shouldn't say Shasan.
no, there's nothing to do with that, by the way. There's nothing to do with that. There's nothing to do. But the point is, but I would delve into, like, for example, something like that to deal with that, right? In the Haredi world, they're not going to deal with that. No one is going to write a book about how women should daven today because it's a different mindset. We're going to do things the way things were done 200 years ago. And I'm going to wear the same kapota and the same shtreimel and the same coat as my great-great-great-grandfather did that in Russia or in Poland, 300 years ago. Even though it's August in Israel and it's 400 degrees. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That's it's a theological statement. I am connected. I'm maintaining the past. Or my Torah changes constantly and needs to apply to every day. Okay? And that's the fundamental, that's the theological difference, and it's coming out big time now. It's coming out big time.
Well, it definitely seems in conflict with the idea that Hashem is looking for unity among the Jewish people.
Okay. He's always looking for unity among the Jewish people.
Exactly, but
Yeah.
this is fighting against that. You go into your.
It's okay. It's okay to think differently. It's fine. Yeah.
But it's not.
I don't have to have exactly the same life as you.
Right.
We can still be united. We can still be friends. We can still be family.
The way it's playing out is.
That's a different story. That's politics.
Well,
That's politics. We're not
that's-
dealing with that. Okay. We're not going to go very far today. I can see that.
No, it is.
Okay. Okay. So we went from tzedek to chesed. Great. Second line over there. We say v'rav chesed mate klapei chesed. Okay. Rav is great, more, right? Similar to the word rov, majority, whatever. Chesed, a lot of that, chesed. Mate, what is lehatot? Okay, to turn the scale or right, to tilt, right? So it's like the Torah says, achrei rabim lehatot, right? Majority rules, right? Klapei chesed. It's such a beautiful image. What is the image that he is talking about?
That the chesed part should be heavier than the tzedek part.
Exactly. It's scale. It's based on obviously on the Gemara in Masechet Rosh Hashana. The scale, right? And our actions are, the bad stuff, the good stuff, right? We all familiar with that image. So what do we say? What we're asking is, v'rav chesed, make the chesed more.
Or judge us with more chesed as opposed to more.
He's not saying judge us. He says, v'rav chesed mate klapei chesed.
Right, but
Make the chesed heavier.
our deeds of chesed or Hashem's world of chesed, how he's judging, his judgment.
Yes. It's our actions. Our actions are being judged. Correct. Add the chesed weight onto the pile. Okay? I remember when I don't know how many people remember that. I would still remember when I was a kid, we used to go to the Makolet. They used to have like those scales, right? Like metal scales, and they used to put it on the scale. The way that it's like, there's no way the kids today have no idea what they're talking about. Yeah, the doctor's office. No, that's digital as well anymore. It's digital. Yeah, but I remember those weights. It was fun to play with. There was like, 200 grams, half a kilo, whatever. Like I remember. Okay. זכויות הכרעה ועוזך תיישר. זכויות, what is a זכות, merit? הכרעה. No. So להכריע is to what? No, if there's a הכרעה, right? If there's a הכרעה, מכריע.
Obligation.
No. Okay, so there's a trial. At the end of the trial, there's a verdict, something final. It's like okay, the judge has edict. Okay,
Mary.
so that you got to be careful here. We have a lawyer here.
Not anymore.
Why,
Yes.
you didn't renew your license? You're not active? Wow.
Look what he's here.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, I thought they want to make sure Nechama is not going to do anything crazy.
She's still entitled.
Okay, so zechuyot hachra, we want the edict of zechuyot, ve'uzchat teyaser.
Yes, said.
Yes, it said.
Yes, said.
Teyaser, here it's teyased. I have it here in the Koran, I have teyaser. Hold on. Yeah, okay. It's probably a mistake here because they quote a pasuk that is actually on Yesod. Good. So it's based on a pasuk, Mipo olelim v'yonkim yisadeta oz. Okay? So it's yesod, to establish. So v'uzcha teyased. So your, how they translate uzcha? Might. Okay, fine. Okay. Chon al ninei mutza mikesed. Okay, that's a little bit tricky. Chon, it's from the word chanina. What is it? Pardon. To pardon, right? This is what Trump just asked Bougie to give Bibi. It's chanina, right? Okay. Chon amam yachadecha, where we say it in the tefillah. Okay, anyway. Chon al ninei mutza mikesed. The great grandchildren, that's a nin, right? Ninei, plural, fine. Of whom mutza mikesed. Exactly. It's the Avraham because, exactly, Avraham from Ur Kasdim. So we ask to pardon those, the great-grandchildren of Abraham, who are us. Okay. טרם נקרא ואתה תענה. That's a pasuk in Yeshayahu where we saw it before. והיה טרם יקראו ואני אענה, עוד הם מדברים ואני אשמע.
Yeah, you should, write that.
So we're saying Yeshayahu in that prophecy, it's a prophecy of nechama, of consolation. He said, "Terem nikra, vaya terem ikrau v'ani ene." HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Yeshayahu, okay, eventually, when they do tshuva and the good stuff, because the beginning is like all the bad stuff. So later on, v'atiyat terem ikrau, if before they call, it's like a parent that knows, like a mother that knows to attend before the kid starts screaming, crying. The pasuk says, God says, I'm already answering. Okay? So the rest of us, they're just talking. I already heard. So I'm able to, God says, I'm able to react even before they cry out to me, before they approach me. It's like when you go to your kid and say, are you hungry? And I said, yeah, how did you know?
Of course.
Genius. Right? It's exactly it. So what do we say? Terem nikra v'ata ta'aneh. Before we call you, you already answer us. Yimatzeh lanu chesed b'ma'aneh. How yimatzeh, right? To find. So yimatzeh in the passive, yimatzeh lanu chesed. The chesed is going to be found for us. How? In the ma'aneh. In the answer. Now, why this is interesting? Because how do we know that the ma'aneh is going to be through chesed? It's also a pasuk. Ma'aneh rach yashiv chema. The pasuk from Mishlei. We spoke about that in the past. Ma'aneh rach yashiv chema. When you have somebody who is with chema, that's anger. Yeah? Right? How do you deal with that? Says Shlomo HaMelech in Mishlei. Yeah. Ma'aneh rach. If you have somebody who's going crazy, I hear you.
It makes them angry or
Sometimes,
something.
yes. All I can tell you this: don't try it on a teenager, on a teenager girl. No, 2-year-old, I already forgot. It might work, but I can tell you. Okay, it doesn't matter what, they go ballistic on everything, right?
It's important.
I'm talking. Let me.
that 10 years, and then shockingly, they come back to their normal.
I know, but I'm right there. I'm right there now.
It's already surpassed that.
So,
They come back.
so she's crazy, right? Like last night, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's like I can't even predict what. It's like all of a sudden screaming or whatever. And it's like, okay, let's just think of what do you think about it? Like, it went even crazier. So I'm not saying it always work, but with rational people, which are not teenagers, I guess that works. Okay.
Why is he before we even ask?
That's what we ask him. We want to be like that child. We want our father to answer, to predict, to say, hey, you hungry? Before you say, I'm hungry, what's to eat?
Say, like, it's gonna be okay.
Okay. בפוקדך היום יצורך להימנה. When this is all taking place, when you poked, how do you translate? Poked, I'm interested. Okay, pkida is zechira, right? When you remember, when? Today, thank you. It was not a trick question. It says, בפוקדך hayom. Yetzurecha, that's us, all your creature, lehimane. To be counted. That's what that's v'tifkod, right? V'tifkod nefesh kol chai. That's what we say. Every yitzur, v'tifkod kol nefesh kol, okay. Lanu, and that's the end of the bite. Lanu malachecha saviv yachane. That's again also pasuk, very famous pasuk from Tehillim. Terry knows that. Pone malach Hashem saviv lereav. I know. Vayichaltem. No, you always say that you read the Tehillim. So I said again, okay, so you need to know, right? So okay, so
Irony right now.
what?
Okay, because the Jewish people in New York are responsible for my mom.
You still a Mandani?
I'm still, because
I'm in Beverly Hills, dealing with Rosh Hashanah.
They voted, they are counted among the voters. They are counted.
Definitely. But you know what we also say? Amishpat le'elokimu.
Right, exactly.
We're not judging anyone. Okay, in my house I do judge, but Hamishpat, judgment.
Guys.
There's also something else. I did not ask the journalist that on that.
You're still there.
Much. Now this is the end. I'm hoping that this will calm you down.
Yeah.
Much of he wants to do is against the law, so I wouldn't worry about it all that much. I would sit back and wait at this.
Okay.
So
He won't be able.
People, I'm here with the malach here. Chone
Yes.
lanu kemalacha malachecha saviv. I know. But this is important because Rosh Hashanah is coming like very soon. And by the way we go, we're not gonna make it. We're not gonna. Saviv yachane. Okay, so the pasuk says what? Chone malach Hashem saviv lireav vayichaltzem. Where do we see the malach? Thank you, in the desert. Correct. The malach is protecting us, right? We know that the Abudanan, the malachim, right? The little protection. Ki malachav yetzav elach lishmocha bechol derachecha. Right? The angels protecting us wherever we go. It's part of Tfilat HaDerech, but that the origin is
I think it's
Tehillim
Oh, you want me to tell you?
91. Come on, Terry. Okay. Okay. So we have this image that the malach, right? So lanu ke malachacha saviv yachane. We want the malach to be saviv, The angels will be saviv. Saviv is around us, right? And not just to come and visit, but rather camp. Yeah, we want protection the whole time. Okay. Now, so the image is a deja vu to, the Malach Hashem is exactly what? At the time of Yetziat Mitzrayim, Amud Anan, Yomam, Amud Esh Laila. Okay, good. Because that was time of danger. I mean, they're in the desert. Like, you need that protection. Okay, fine. And so
now we're vulnerable.
because we are
We have
no. Think like because, where is this guy? Rabbi Shimon HaGadol. Where is he? I said he was a student of Rashi. So what are we talking about? Galut. We're in the darkness of the Galut.
We're in the desert.
We're in the desert.
We're still.
The desert of Europe, but still the desert. Okay? Okay. So that's the image. This is how. Okay. Let's go to one more. Midat tuvcha aleinu agber. Midat tuvcha aleinu agber. So the midah, right, the character of tuv, tov, the good one, aleinu agber, aleinu, upon us. What's leagbir? Right. When you say it to somebody, leagbir in the radio, right, like to turn on, right? So turn on the good character on us. So it's not based on modern Hebrew. Obviously, it's based on Gibor, but it's so there's a statement in Masechet Sotah that says Le'olam midat tova meruba midat pur'anut. Midat tova is always more than the bad stuff. Than midat. Okay. Obviously, it's a midrash, but so we're asking for something to happen, something that is supposed to happen. Nakeinu me'avon ufshainu ha'aver. Okay, that's a pasuk that we know. Pasuk from Micha. We say what? Mi el kamocha nose avon ve'over al pesha. Everybody's looking at me. They never said tashlich in their life. It's in the tashlich. It's in the haftarah for Shabbat Shuvah.
No, it's familiar, but I'm just like, I'm trying
Yeah.
to think with the,
It's the opening for tashlich. Mi el kamocha. Okay, I know. It's okay. Miel kamocha nose avon ve'over al pesha. So we say God is nose avon ve'over al pesha. It's letting us, go by even though there's avon and pesha. And here what we say, nakeinu me'avon ufshainu ha'aver. To clean or cleanse us from our avon and the peshaim, just remove it. Okay. Limkavayecha. Oh, somebody, I forgot. Sagev bizroa limkavayecha besever. What is a sever? Sever.
Oh, seven, like thought?
No, it's how to translate? Let's see. Where are we? Wait. The seven. Oh, they do it here in sin, okay? So it's in scenes. Correct. Sin and samachart. With your arms strengthen
Wings.
those
Sword.
who look to you with hopefulness. Okay, I don't understand that English. With your arm strengthen. Sever comes from no, that's different. Savir is acceptable, okay, but that's not that is samech. Sever in the Talmud is tochelet, like purpose. Like when you say Ashrei She'el Yaakov Bezro. Come on, Terry. Sivro al Hashem Elokav. Yeah, Tehillim Kuf Mem Vav. אשר של יעקב ועוזרו סיפרו על השם אלוקיו. Um, so it's like those that El Yaakov, that the God of on their side, on their purpose. Okay. Okay. And then what is the Oz Khalifat Koach Va'aliyat Ever? What is this? Ever. That's a pasuk from Yeshayahu. Yeah, but it's something very, very specific. It's a very specific pasuk from Yeshayahu, a very famous one also. Veko Yei Hashem Yachalifu Koach Ya'alu Ever Kansharim. I think it's the Haftarah for Rosh Chodesh, right? It's Haftarah for Rosh Chodesh. Hashemayim Kisi V'Aretz Adom Raglai. Veko Yei Hashem Yachalifu Koach Ya'alu Ever Kansharim. Yeah. So the pasuk from Yeshayahu, it talks about those who hope, those who seek, those who lekavot, look forward, right? Hopeful, faith to God. Yachalifu koach. What's lachalif koach? Energize. Okay, it's an imagery for energize. Ya'alu ever kanesharim. What is that? We have also a pasuk. Isa'eu kenesher yair kino al gozalav yerachef. Right? Yishlach evrato yikachehu. What is that? Kenesher, nesher, eagle. Right? The eagle has evra, wings. Very strong wind. Okay, so that's evra. Okay, so this is so aliyat ever, that means it's in the context of an eagle. So it's like exactly like soaring like an eagle. So what does it mean? So when we say okay, remove the pesha and avon, sagev bizroa lemkavayecha besever. So we give purpose, we give hope for those who seek you, for those who beseech you. How that's going to happen, or what we ask for? Oz, strength, Khalifat koach. The strength is going to be through energizing, or there's going to be some energizing process that will give the strength. Va'aliyat ever. And what's the imagery? It's like soaring eagle. It is.
Do we really have to read this on Rosh Hashanah? It's a poem.
For very long
Now,
time.
the question is, Nechama, do you want the real answer, or do you want, you want the theoretical or you want the practical? Okay, so here's what happens, I think, in this shul and in 99% of shuls. Everybody is mumbling that. Nobody understands what they're saying. It's completely, in my book, completely useless waste of time. Yeah. How many people actually learn that? Yeah. And by the way, can you even think about all the stuff that you learn when you have and the Chazan goes, okay, well, let's move. He's already in the next.
Right.
Okay.
I
So
just put stuff into davening, and so they wrote poems, or
but we talked about it. We said that like absolutely the Paitanim felt that tefillah is too short back then until they started messing with that and it became too long. By the way, a lot of the piyutim, by the way, I grew up with many more piyutim. This is like walk in the park. What? I grew up in the Sfard, like, the tefillah, like, we had like this thick. We started at 7 o'clock in the morning with Rosh Hashanah. We finished 3 p.m. There was not much of singing, no sermon, and we were mumbling the whole time. There was like enormous amount of piyutim. Enormous. This is much less. But yeah, well, they can't. Then it's like there was like really old school. Like I grew up in a shtibel that was like literally transplanted from Poland in the 1800s.
They really were
Like
loyal to Poland.
absolutely. Whatever we did in the shtetl, that's what we're doing here. Nothing changes.
My father went to shul like that. There was,
That's the way I grew up.
yeah.
That's the way I grew up. And there was my grandfather and his buddies. They were all Holocaust survivors. That's the way they did that. Anyway, point is, that opens a different question. Like, what is, so yes, we have those beautiful poems and everything. Do we need even to put them in the tefillah? I don't know. Like, because the tefillah at the end of the day, here's another quote. That's a perfect example. Like in the Haredi world, nobody would ever say that we need to adjust the tefillah for today's crowd, right? Short, people are just, lack of understanding, that kind of stuff. Nobody was like, no, everybody understand every word. We're not cutting everything. It's like, that's the way they did that 200 years ago. That's the way we do it today. More and more minyanim in Israel, by the way, are not doing that stuff today. So either they're going to do it like they would cut some piyutim, or they would have only a short, like just a couple of lines, just to demonstrate an idea. There is a movement, not less here in America from some reason, but less is more.
Mhm.
So that goes into a different question. What's the objective of tefillah? Right? What's the objective of tefillah? Right? Some to connect, you would say to connect. A lot of people would say, well, it's an obligation.
So then, who says you need to say this?
So there's, and that's if you remember, when we started with the weekday tefillah, I defined that from the very beginning. I said that there's a great tension between the keva and the kavanah. Right? The keva, I have to do it, whatever that is. I have to do. There's halacha. There's whatever 3 davening in a day. Blah blah blah. Whatever. There's a keva. There's a routine. There's something. But not always I'm in the mood. Not always I'm like I feel like saying Psukei de Zimra. I'm definitely not whatever. Whatever that is. But if I leave it to the kavanah, only to those times when I'm inspired, then there's a good chance that most of the days I'm not going to be davening. Right? So there's tension between the two. And this is how we operate. And by the way, different congregations have different emphasis. Some places would do, okay, it's more about the kavanah. And therefore, there's going to be like Hasidic places, for example, it's all about, the getting into the mood and singing and whatever and that kind of stuff. More Litvish, whatever places, it's about the keva. Gotta go. You start on time, you mumble what you need to mumble, and you go out, right? And you don't cut anything, right? There's a whole spectrum, right? By the way, I'm not talking what's happening today, but in early days of reform and conservative sidurim and the early days of those movements, I said, okay, we're going to sacrifice some of that stuff in order to focus on the kavanah. Today, in many places like that, there's only kavanah, right? They would do a nigun. They're not going to even say the words. It's on lie, and that's it. And that instead of the keva, instead of the text, which is like, to me, is like, whoa. Okay, that's a different level.
Yes.
But I think that we and every congregation need to define, like, how they deal with that tension.
Who makes the decision?
Like, Mr. Sampson here, davens at Benny's. Actually, Benny's has changed.
Be careful.
Benny's has changed. Benny's used to be like, kind of a more of a tachlis minyan. You come, you daven, you go. Upstairs used to be like, there was chazanim and But now you guys are singing even more than upstairs. So things have changed. Right? So it's different. Some people decide to go to the happy minyan because
They like
it's
singing.
they want to sing. Some people go to Adas because there's no singing. Right? So that goes into like, so what do we do here? I think that if it was up to me to, let's, for example, if I was tasked by the I don't know,
Committee.
the
Committee.
committee, the leadership of the shul. Hey, Arik, we want you to redesign the Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur davening. Okay, we want it to be more meaningful, whatever, Then the first thing that I would do is probably shorten or cut some of those piyutim and focus a little bit more on what are we saying instead of like how much we're saying.
Especially that makes sense. We're saying the same thing.
There's a repeat. Well, that's
Judge us favorably, period. You could say it in one.
You don't need to, for that, you don't need even to say that. Like we have like tefillot that are from the skeleton of the tefillah. If not you, by the way, this is why the Gra was very much against the piyutim. If you daven nusach hagra, there's no piyutim. They're all out. They're all out. He considered that as a hefsek. Some yeshivot in places in Yerushalayim, they're like minhag hagra. They don't say that stuff.
Sorry, I got to do that. They won't be here next week for you to pick on me. You'll have to find some.
No.
Great stuff on her.
I'm sorry. It's like, it's like we very often we have a dog come to us like from the neighbors. So it's not going to work. Like the cat. That's what.
I think we're not understanding one another. But never mind.
Probably.
We'll see you in a couple.
Okay. Thank you, Terry. Marvin, it's wonderful to see you.
It's
You-
nice to see you too. I want you to know I learned so much from you about those people who don't connect.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of people do not connect. We have to do something about that. I think we have to do something about it. Anyway, next week, same time, same place. We're going to continue. Hopefully, we're going to finish this dispute and move to the next one.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much for the learning.
Thank you.